July 4th festivities turn to terror when a shooter targets a parade in Highland Park, Illinois. Mainstream media seizes the opportunity to draw the mass shooting back to the necessity of more gun control laws. The Hill. What laws could have stopped the Highland Park shooting? Yet it's been less than a year since another holiday parade took multiple lives and injured dozens of others. And the tragedy in Waukesha had nothing to do with guns. About the same number of people were killed and injured with an SUV used as a weapon as were with 80 rounds from a gun. MSM may have long since forgotten about Darrell Brooks driving an SUV into a Christmas parade, killing 6 and injuring more than 60, but the Highland Park shooting brings back painful memories for those living in Waukesha. Bringing you what's ignored, sensationalized, unbalanced, misleading, or just plain false, here's your Media Malfeasance for the first week of July. News coverage of the Highland Park parade shooting dominates this week as propaganda puppets speculate not only what laws could have stopped the tragedy, by the way, murder is still illegal, but also about the killer's motivations. How about instead of the what ifs, we take a look at the what is? Illinois is a state that boasts some of the strongest gun control laws of any state, with mandated background checks for gun purchases, laws limiting gun access, and a red flag law, according to The Guardian. Yet the headline says Highland Park shooting sparks outrage over gun law loopholes that let suspects slip through. So you're saying that even under the strictest of gun laws, criminals can still find a way to kill? Oh, but you know, it's Indiana's fault. Most of the guns responsible for the high crime in Chicago and surrounding areas were purchased in Indiana, they say. Then why don't Indiana cities have such high levels of crime? And why did Robert E. Crimo III purchase his guns in Illinois, according to state police? Was this a case of lax gun laws or another failure to enforce existing gun laws? Police had 2 prior run-ins with the alleged shooter, according to the Washington Examiner.
The matter was being handled by mental health professionals at that time. There was no law enforcement action to be taken. It was a mental health issue handled by those professionals. The second occurred in September of 2019. A family member reported that Crimo said he was going to kill everyone, and Crimo had a collection of knives.
Some speculated the shooter was a MAGA guy, pointing to this picture of him wearing a Trump flag. But wait, there's also pictures of him in the all-black Antifa gear, pictures of him wearing women's clothing, and the telltale brightly colored hair of the left. So who knows? But rather than the what ifs, stick with the what is. Or in the case of VP Harris, just vomit a bunch of words out and hope something sticks.
We got to take this stuff seriously as you are, because you have been forced to have to take it seriously. The whole nation should understand and have a level of empathy.
In case you missed that, Harris says we have to take this stuff seriously as you are, because you have been forced to take this seriously. Word
salad, yummy, yummy.
And to think this just before Harris's major address in Louisiana. Another potential shooting you might have missed this week in Richmond. 2 men were allegedly plotting a mass shooting in Virginia, according to police. Both men were charged with being non-citizens in possession of a gun. Yep, one of the men had been deported several times and was able to re-enter the country. A citizen tip thwarted the plan. How about a shooting that could have been thwarted but wasn't? According to a new report, we're now learning an armed Uvalde officer had the Robb Elementary gunman in his sights before he entered the school. He could have took him down, but was waiting for permission. Why don't we address this problem? Law enforcement that either says, I'm just following the rules, or I didn't act because no one told me to. Ignored by MSM this week, the reinstatement of Alex Berenson. The journalist says Twitter had kicked him off after this tweet, quote, "It doesn't stop infection or transmission. Don't think of it as a vaccine. Think of it, at best, as a therapeutic with a limited window of efficacy and terrible side effect profile that must be dosed in advance of illness. And we want to mandate it? Insanity." Nearly 1 year later, his account has been restored. He had to sue the tech platform to be reinstated. Berenson insinuates he's going after the biased media next, who defamed him as a conspiracy theorist. As if we needed any more proof the media is biased, research solicited by the DC-based investigative firm Delve shows White House press corps is 12-1 Democrat, according to the Federalist. Washington Post urges readers to give Biden a break, less than a month after the Atlantic headlines with "Leave Joe Biden alone." Is it any wonder a new Gallup poll shows only 16% of the public trust newspapers and even less trust TV news? With your media malfeasance for the week, I'm Christy Lee.